welcome back to another Q&A episode. Thanks again to everyone who sent in a question, and first up, Omi18 asks, should I replace Alonso or not, and if yes, then with whom? He's missed the last 2 Premier League games with an ankle injury, but he was pictured back in training ahead of Chelsea's midweek Champions League tie with Barcelona, so there'll be another opportunity to assess the situation there. But regardless of whether or not Alonso's fit, selling him remains an option, given Chelsea's tough run of games. They face away trips to Man United and Man City, and a home fixture against Spurs over the next 5 game weeks, as well as being without a fixture in Gameweek 31. In terms of a replacement option, Virgil Van Dijk looks like the standout premium pick, on the back of Liverpool's clean sheet against Southampton last game week. He faces home encounters with West Ham, Newcastle and Watford over the next 4 game weeks, which includes a fixture in Gameweek 31. Mahmood asks, should we swap Aguero to Firmino now? This is a tough one, considering the form the Man City striker has been in, scoring 8 goals in his last 4 league games. However, each of those have come at home, and only 6 of his 21 goals have come on the road this season. An away trip to Arsenal awaits Man City in Gameweek 28, and the fixtures don't get any easier from there, with Chelsea and Man United their only home games to come over the next 7 game weeks, and no fixture for the league leaders in Gameweek 31. With that in mind, bringing Firmino in as part of our Gameweek 31 preparation looks like a strong option, for those of us without the Liverpool man already, and the cash saved will enable upgrades elsewhere in the coming weeks too. Aku asks, best midfielders priced 6 to 8 million. Once again, the focus for most of us around this time will be selecting players who not only have form, but also have a fixture in Gameweek 31, where already 5 games have been postponed. The game between Spurs and Newcastle will also be postponed if Spurs beat Rochdale in their FA Cup replay at Wembley. Shaqiri and Walcott have attracted a lot of attention in recent weeks and remain strong options, as well as the Watford midfielders such as Deulofeu and Richarlison. Another slightly more under the radar pick could be West Brom's Matt Phillips. He's recently returned from injury and faces home encounters with Huddersfield, Leicester, Burnley and Swansea over the next 6 game weeks, as well as away trips to Watford and Bournemouth. Since his return, only Salomon Rondon has taken more shots on target amongst West Brom players, while no teammate has produced more than Phillips' 7 attempted assists. Amunpal asks, how do you plan to navigate the blanks, using the free hit in 31 or keeping it for 37? So the free hit chip will be particularly useful during a game week where there are a number of fixtures postponed, because it allows us to build a team for that single game week, while still carrying forward our main squad of players beyond that, and also avoiding any hits. But if you're in a position where you've already got 4 or 5 players who have a fixture in Gameweek 31, you might be able to get away with just using the remaining free transfers and the odd hit to build your team for that week. That will allow you to potentially look at using the free hit chip in Gameweek 35, when there will once again be a number of matches postponed. You could use your wildcard soon after Gameweek 31 to refresh the squad and bring in players with a double game week in 34 or 37. We don't know the details of the double game weeks as things stand, but we will nearer the time. Then you could use the bench boost chip in Gameweek 34, use the free hit chip in Gameweek 35 to keep the double game week players through their blank fixture, and carry them into the next double game week, which is likely to be in Gameweek 37. If you still have your triple captain chip, that might be a good time to use it. Luke asks, how many players would be ideal to have for blank Gameweek 31? Assuming the game between Spurs and Newcastle gets postponed, we'll only have 4 matches and 8 teams to choose from that week, so 11 players might not be needed. I think you've just got to work with what you've got to some degree, and use as many remaining free transfers as possible to set yourself up for Gameweek 31. So if you have 5 players already with a fixture that week, it'll be possible to get up to 9 Gameweek 31 players without using hits. Somewhere around that number looks ideal. And the final question for this episode comes from Lewis, who asks, what transfers are you planning on making in Gameweek 31? As things stand, the 4 players we're looking at bringing in with the remaining free transfers are as follows: Firmino, Van Dijk, Pickford, and either Richarlison or Deulofeu. That will give us a team of 9 players for Gameweek 31, without taking hits. I think tripling up on Liverpool players around this period is the way to go, given their form and fixtures, and then you've got the likes of Shaqiri, Walcott and Wilson, who are also likely to be fairly well owned. For a goalkeeper, someone like Ben Foster or Jordan Pickford could come in, and that's especially handy for those of us with Nick Pope in our squads, since Tom Heaton isn't far away from a return. The Watford midfielder would come in as a 5th midfielder and would allow us to bench Raheem Sterling that week, but it could also be an option to sell the Man City man and go for Sadio Mane instead of Van Dijk. So that concludes this Q&A episode. If you've enjoyed it, let me know by hitting the like button, and be sure to comment below with your thoughts as always too.